Hi there, Michelle Alpha here, and this is going to be day 9. Even though I think that I have skipped a few days, one of my videos that I actually did try to upload did not have all the audio to it. I was really bummed about it because it was a killer video and I think you would have gotten a lot of information out of it. So let me see if I can make up for it here. I'm a few days behind. I'm not going to go back into what I've been doing the past few days, because it was the weekend and then yesterday was Monday and it was just crazy. So let's just pick up from here and start with today, Tuesday. I woke up this morning and it's the spring break for my girls and I took them over to their swim practice because they swim at 7 o'clock in the morning. Came back here and immediately kind of started going through my emails and basically answered a few of the questions that I had with some possible potential customers within my business. I am also promoting my Global Resorts Network on the retail side of things, so I did have some questions with that and some people I needed to follow up with. And all that came with me putting in a little bit more of an irresistible offer to these guys. I'm trying to, their interest has been piqued. They want to know more. They like what they've seen. And I want to offer maybe a little bit more of an offer to get them in. Now, I did that this morning. Then right after that, immediately at about 10 o'clock, I had my coaching sessions because, Mark Hoverson has me in his coaching club as the coach back there that people can schedule appointments with. Started the first one out, and it was very interesting because the first person I spoke with has been with the company for a while and has not made any sales. And one of the things that I figured out is she has this list of about 1,000 people. She has spent a lot of money and she hasn't done anything. And my first question was to her, well, then why are you still doing the same thing? Something needs to change. And she's like, well, I built my list. And even though you've built your list to 1,000 people, it's not going to do you any good if you haven't done anything with it, if you're not making contact with these people. And of course, she was making contact with them every day. She can't figure out what's wrong. And my suggestion to her was, first of all, I pride myself in the fact that I do not spend a lot of money in advertising. I look for those free ways and those productive ways. And I look for ways of putting people into my business through Facebook. I'm a huge social media expert, and that's exactly what I do is I work in Facebook. And she basically was, wondering, I schedule webinars and nobody shows up. Well, my advice to her was she needs to focus on one thing. She was looking for other avenues and ways to do things. So with that list, I want her to actually pick up the phone and call these people. That is something she wasn't doing. And that is one of the first questions I ask so many people when they tell me they have a lot of leads, but they're not making any sales in their business. Are you calling them? You have to call your leads. I just got off of about an hour worth of power calling, about 30 leads in there. I got hung up on by 2 people. One lady told me that she can't remember a thing, so she wouldn't be any good to me and she'd be wasting my time. Just you have to do it. And the more I did it, the more comfortable I got. And you've got to get yourself out of that box and face your fears. Because if you don't do it, you're never going to get better at it. So that was my advice to her. The second person I talked to, because that was a fast 20 minutes and I had another one scheduled right after that, was not expecting it because I just had forgotten that it was at that time. And one of my favorite people was talking to her, and she feels really spread out. And my advice to her, she knows that I'm, generating sales, I'm getting the leads, I'm making, progress. And, when you pick an area to work in, you have to, and I've said this over and over, and if you're watching my videos, you're going to hear this a lot. You've got to focus on that one thing. So for example, I'm in Facebook. That is what I focus on. Now, it's not by spamming walls. It's actually engaging with people in conversations in the actual area I'm working in. I run ads in there and I check those ads every single day to make sure that they're running how I want them to run. I send them to a Facebook landing page. So once you get that up and running, you can focus on the fact that you're building relationships. And I feel like my business is this little circle. And what I do is I write a blog post maybe one day. I go and share it in a forum, a couple of forums that I'm part of, and then I come over and put it on Facebook and share it, and I interact. I engage people in it. I send people to that blog because my goal is to get my leadership up to a level where people know who I am and that I can prove to them that I'm the kind of leader that they need in their business if they want to succeed, because I'm tired of these leaders out there that aren't doing anything for people. They sign people up, make the commission, and then leave them high and dry. I'm not going to do that, and it takes a little while because I'm having to prove that along the way. I mean, I've come very far. I mean, you know, I've got Mark Hoverson backing me up. He's promoting me like crazy. I mean, what more can I ask for? It's awesome. But again, I think that you have to quit trying to build websites. You got to quit trying to build coaching programs. You got to quit trying to build funnels, because that in the long run is not putting money in your pocket that day. So you want to wake up and do the things that are productive. So right after I got done with that call, I realized that my good friend and partner had a webinar at 11 a.m. this morning. Well, he's in an area, and I don't think the time zone changes in Arizona, but he kept arguing with me. I mean, I would say it's arguing that I was wrong on the time, and I eventually had to say, look, shut up and get on the webinar. So he made it on, had a great webinar, listened to him on closing. And again, it goes back to calling leads. A lot of people are afraid to close. It really sucks sometimes, but you got to do it, because what's the worst thing that's going to happen? They hang up on you, and if you don't like what you're doing, you don't like the way the conversation's going, be short, cut them off, and get them off the phone. So that went on. Well, I want to say that when I realized that he had messed up and got on that webinar late, I was cracking up laughing, thought it was so funny. Well, karma pretty much bit me, because I had a webinar scheduled right after that. Let me take a sip of water here. Hang on. And I was thinking, oh, I'll just cancel it, which is a big no-no. Don't ever do that. If you have a webinar planned, and I don't care if nobody shows up on it, you do it, you practice it, and you get it done, because the more you practice, the better you're going to get. Well, I opened it up, and I had quite a few people on there, so there was no chance in canceling that. And not only that, I had to get it over onto another computer, the PowerPoint presentation. That wasn't working. GoToWebinar wasn't working for me, so I showed up a few minutes late. Definitely karma bit me. I was not prepared for that. So that happened to me definitely today. After that, I pretty much took a deep breath. I was not real happy with my performance on that webinar because it was rushed. It was one of the first webinars that I'd done on this topic. And I mean, I think that I really think that it ended well in the long run. And then I got on my autoresponder, sent out a really good email, because tomorrow I'm really excited about the webinar opportunity I'm going to have, and that's for the Global Resorts Network opportunity. And Mark has said there's going to be about 100 people on there. That's going to be my first chance to be able to do an opportunity call on that. So I'm really excited about it, and he's asked me to share my vision. And, you know, I was up last night really thinking about a lot of things. You know, I love my high ticket item. I've got a low ticket item, and, you know, I'm very driven, okay? So I like things to move fast. And, you know, one thing I was thinking of in the middle of that night when I was wide awake and my brain was turning was the fact that I really think, now I want you to follow me on this, okay? I'm going to try my best to explain it. People get into companies sometimes because it fits a need, okay? Like, say, for instance, you can't afford the high ticket item I'm in of Global Resorts Network, okay? But you go off and you think that you've found another company that has a low buy-in, maybe $49, $69, whatever the case, and a very low auto ship. Sometimes you use these free programs because you're so desperate to get started that you get in it anyways, and you've somehow convinced yourself that this is a great program, and you're trying to convince other people of that, and you've created this passion around what you bought in for. So you led yourself in because you couldn't afford it. Then you created the passion around it. Now that may seem okay, but it's really not, because the type of person you want to be. And once I thought about this, I realized my vision for Global Resorts Network was huge. My passion for it was big. I had that before I ever realized how I was going to get the money to buy that membership. I was in the middle of a wedding, on my honeymoon, hit by the hurricane, out a ton of money because of that hurricane, trying to get back home. I needed to pay for that membership. I would have paid tens of thousands of dollars to get into this membership because of my passion and my drive and my vision for Global Resorts Network. And that's what I want you to do first when you're considering a company. Let your passion guide you first. Let your vision guide you. Go out there, pretend the price tags are gone. Find out exactly what you want to do, what appeals to you, what attracts to you. For me, it was Global Resorts. Then deal with the price, okay? Then deal with it, because I guarantee you, if somebody had said, Michelle, fly naked through the woods on a zip line and you can join Global Resorts, I would have done it, because that's how bad I wanted it. You would be surprised how you can push yourself to come up with what you need to fulfill that passion and vision you have. Now that is killer stuff right there, and I hope that you take that to heart. And I'm going to get this thing posted up, and leave me a comment and tell me what you think, and I will see you tomorrow. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.